Hi, Sonia.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. So we are recording our interview for the Art of Isolation for our latest exhibition, and I've got some pre-prepared questions to ask you. So I'm going to kick off with the first one, which is the big one. Why do you make art?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? I've always been involved in the arts one way or another. I started in dance a long time ago. And for me, art is just one big thing. It's just one thing. I went on to do performances, the backdrops to the performances, stage sets, sculptures. I've done pretty much. I've covered a lot in the arts. Large scale, small scale, but then I specialize in this type of art, as mainly geometric abstraction with vivid colors. It's just a way of thinking. For me, doing art is like breathing. It's just something that comes naturally, and I need to do it.
Sure. No. And I guess, well, the next question, I think it kind of comes on quite nicely from that, is what do you like most about being an artist, being a creative person?
I guess the lifestyle, the way of thinking that goes with it, and the community as well. Meeting artists who often are very different and work very differently to the way I do. Um, yeah, I guess the community, meeting like-minded people, open-minded people very often. It's just really interesting. It's always interesting.
Yeah. And what are your biggest inspirations in your work? And I'm supposed to kind of ask and why. Um,
Um, I was fascinated by Leonardo da Vinci from an early age, and I also became a social scientist later on. So I guess what that has in common is science. And for me, art and science have a lot in common. They overlap in many ways. Um, because doing art and doing science involves a lot of research, a process of understanding what we're working on in detail, and then generating maybe some sort of theory um, that all leads to an outcome, to an end result. But it's the process that's more important, really.
sure. Um, and well, this is a big one. This feels like a real interview question, actually, more like a job interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, art-wise, as an artist and a creative? Where do you think you might be?
Oh, I don't really have goals in terms of art. I just follow my own ideas and intuitions. But I guess I'll just keep going the path I'm on, which is international exhibitions and art fairs. Um, um, Working with galleries abroad. I've just joined a gallery in Russia, which could be a completely new experience. And I'll be having an online exhibition with a Chinese gallery as well. So I seem to be going further away from Europe and the UK, which is where I was usually working. So who knows in 5 years? And also having joined the collective now, 27 artists working together and helping each other to make progress. That could be very interesting as well. So there's no way of saying what will happen in 5 years, but I'll just follow the path I'm on now.
I'm going to slip my own question in there, if that's all right. So,
So
we're all really having this new virtual world to display our work in. Do you think that's opened up some new opportunities for you?
well, I think so, because obviously with lockdown, everything in the arts went online. And everybody's looking all over the world at what artists are doing online. So it really is an exciting time in the arts. There's more opportunity to connect with other artists, with collectors, curators, galleries and museums. So it is a really exciting time for sure.
And that, I think, kind of quite smoothly comes to our last question, and you've answered them all so brilliantly and concisely. what is it like being part of a collective? Because we're obviously both part of this collective. We've never met in real life. This is the first time we're kind of meeting properly, and it's virtually. So yeah, what's it like for you being part of a collective?
Well, it's very interesting because usually being an artist for me is quite a solitary experience. And it is a contradictory situation really with all these lockdowns, one lockdown after another. We have been isolated for a long time, but somehow we all connected through the TAOI collective. And it's been amazing because I guess we're all missing real life connections, and so we transfer onto the virtual world, and it's such a source of support and motivation as well, because when we're all working together on a project, it really keeps our minds focused. It keeps us working. It's inspiring as well. We exchange ideas and information, so it's a fantastic experience.
Yeah, in a way, it's done that, I think, in a way that being part of a virtual, sorry, a real life group perhaps didn't do so much. I think it's kind of concentrated people into finding a way to keep those connections.
That's right. It's kind of intensified things,
Yeah.
hasn't it? And in the arts, emotions are really important. And that's one of the key differences with science for me, is that in the arts, you can explore emotions in a completely different way. I think it's the only kind of universe, the arts, where you can really delve into emotions. And lockdown has been incredibly intense emotionally for everyone. I think whether it's conscious or unconscious, we all have really felt it. And as artists, I think we're particularly sensitive to what's happening in the world. And the collective kind of helps to channel all this and discuss it and actually turn it into something positive. All this anxiety and all this strangeness of this situation, and we manifest it into exhibitions, which is it's positive, it's therapeutic, and hopefully it inspires and help people through these difficult times.
I'm going to just play back that answer when you ask me that question, because I think that, I think absolutely right. It's a real, and I think that thing where lots of people find it hard to be motivated, being part of a collective really keeps you motivated. And if you can exhibit online, which, we'd all love to be exhibiting in real life, but I think you are exhibiting in online and having something to work towards actually really helps with that motivation if you're feeling a little bit kind of lost and not necessarily being able to soak up the stuff that would inspire you normally. There's your own home is only inspiring to a certain point, isn't it?
Exactly. I think many people are starting to feel a little bit lost in space by now. So this is where the collective can really help. And arts can help people to stay on track and stay inspired and just think about things differently.
Yeah.
Reframe, hopefully.
Yes. Thank you. We've kind of whizzed through them, but I think you've answered them so beautifully. And it's really interesting for me because we're part of this collective, but we haven't all necessarily met because of the circumstances in which the collective started.
Right.
So it's really nice, and I think your work's really beautiful. And it's really nice to kind of hear more about it and put that your face to and your words to what you make.
I think the colors I use especially help me through. I think this has been the darkest winter. It has been the darkest time, and it's often in winter that I come up with my most vivid paintings. I think the colors actually, I think we're compensatory in that sense. Humans find a way to compensate things. So when things are particularly dark, maybe it's not so surprising that the most vivid colors come up.
Sure.
And they help me, actually. Maybe they keep me looking forward to the summer. And I hope that it will have that effect on the viewers as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, hi. My name is Sonia Achoura. I'll be interviewing Samantha English today. She's an artist, part of TAOI Collective. So first of all, hi, Samantha.
Hi.
So we're both part of this art collective, which is a brand new venture with Adam Lucy. So would you like to tell us, first of all, why do you make art?
Well, I see. I always find that quite a weird question for me because I consider myself to be a maker, and I think that's because I make in 3D. So I make small sculptures, and I also make and work in metal. And when I went back to uni a few years ago, it was on a craft course. So we always kind of refer to ourselves as makers. So it always kind of feels quite weird for me to think of myself as an artist. But I guess I make because I've always made something, before I was making seriously and working seriously, I would paint furniture, make birthday presents, make cards, do evening classes, always needing to do something and produce something. So I'm not sure why. I think I have a fairly creative-ish family, although nobody is a professional maker or artist. So I think I kind of make it because I'm not sure what I would do if I didn't. It just feels like I need to produce something. I need to work with those materials and learn how new techniques. And I think that's something with metalwork that keeps me wanting to make stuff, because I think, oh, now I can learn to do this, or I'm learning to raise silver at the moment into bowl shapes. So there's always something new, and there's always new tools to buy, which is quite a good incentive. But I just think it's an inherent need really to create. I'm not sure if I can be any deeper than that, but I think that's really all it is. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't create stuff.
And what do you like most about being an artist?
Oh gosh, do you know, I think actually I do know what I like most. I think it's when somebody buys or wears or tells me that they like my work or they have it in their home. For me, that's just such an amazing thing. And I think that's easier with my jewelry, because obviously they're choosing to wear it, and I find that amazing. Something that I've created from an idea somewhere, and I've developed it, and I've produced this thing, and somebody likes the look of it and the concept about it, and they want to wear it, or they want to have one of my memory vessels in their home. And actually I've had people buy them as heirloom gifts, so buying them for their children, to pass on to their children. And I just find that it stuns me every time. I kind of think, really?
That is an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's it. But yes, also it's great to be part of a community of makers and artists, to be around other people who express themselves in the same way. So and to kind of be in that world of exhibiting and showing your work is really exciting for me. I came to making seriously, as an artist and a maker, in my 40s, a bit later on in my life. So for me, it's a completely new landscape. It's a new journey and a new experience. And I've just found it really exciting, very stressful sometimes, but hugely, I don't know, just it kind of fires me up, really. It kind of gives
It's
me,
an adventure, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And it brings me a huge amount of pleasure. I can set myself up in an exhibition room in a gallery, and it kind of takes my breath away, really, to think that my work is there and people are going to come and see it. And if people buy it or not actually doesn't really matter. It's such a buzz, I find. It's yeah, and something that I kind of wish I'd done in my earlier life. So it's even more kind of precious to me now, as I'm kind of a bit older.
And what are your biggest inspirations and why?
Um, I really think it's the people that I meet in the community of making and other artists, and particularly I went back to uni a few years ago to do my MA in jewellery. I actually ended up just making metal sculpture. I didn't present jewellery in the end, but it was everybody I met. My tutors were really inspiring. My colleagues on my course who had all different kind of backgrounds and disciplines: textiles, ceramics, glass, product design. I found it absolutely fascinating and inspiring, and you know, lots of them had long histories of making and were multidisciplined. So for me, I think, I mean, yes, I'm inspired when I go to a gallery. Yes, I'm inspired by famous artists, but actually it's very much that being around people who make, and the conversations that you have around making with other people. I think for me, that's what I find the most inspiring, and to see people, you know, take a flat sheet of metal or some thread and, you know, create something amazing. I really think they're the people that inspire me the most.
And could you tell us, where do you see yourself in 5 years art-wise?
It's a funny question at the moment, isn't it? Because I graduated in at the end of 2019, kind of expecting a different world than we're in now. So, do you know, I guess I hope to continue to exhibit. I hope in the not too distant future that's actual exhibitions rather than virtual ones. I'd like gallery representation. Who wouldn't? I'd like to be selling my work further afield and displaying it further afield. I think kind of going on the journey of where it hopefully it will naturally take me to more exhibitions, bigger exhibitions, more international work. My jewellery, you know, I'm just happy when people buy it. I think it would be nice to sell perhaps that further afield. But yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because it feels, I think the expectations that I had finishing my MA are very different now because of the world that we live in. But as long as I can keep making and there's an audience for that, I think I'll be happy to be doing that in 5 years.
It sounds exciting.
I hope
And
so.
it's nice to have both, to have the jewelry and the art going alongside.
Yeah, well, I had always made jewelry on and off for years in different forms, and I really wanted to go back to university. It was something I'd wanted to do for years. I actually wanted to do more of a learning course, but there's very few courses around for jewelry, so I ended up on the MA, and actually that was so again inspiring, and really made me dig deep about what I wanted to create and what I wanted to say. And actually I found it quite challenging to do that in jewelry. I think my jewelry is, I'm probably more of a commercial jewelry maker than a creative jewelry maker, but I found making the my memory vessels and working in metal to make small form sculpture, actually that was the way to go. So yeah, I was lucky to have a tutor or tutors who kind of went, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's nice to have both of them.
It kind of took you in its own path. Sometimes
Mm,
art has a life of its own, and it kind of takes you in its own direction somehow, and it seems to be out of your control, which is
yeah,
fascinating, isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. If you'd have said at the beginning of the course, you will present your show at the end won't be jewelry, I'd have thought, oh no, oh no. But actually, it was completely the right thing for me to do.
And what is it like being part of the collective for you?
Well, this collective, the Art of Isolation, is great for me because you're most people in the collective are based in London, and I'm not. I'm on the south coast of West Sussex, so I really enjoy having that connection with people who are making and exhibiting in London. So for me, that's fantastic. Um, but also, I think what I learned very much on my course, because I'd been making completely solitary before that, was that having a group of like-minded people to support you is incredibly helpful and invigorating, and it gives you confidence. You know, you're always able to kind of say, oh, could somebody just take a look at this? What do you think? Where can I do this? How do I do that? It's being able to create those conversations, and also kind of, you know, we all have to be multi-skilled now to run businesses or to be makers and sell stuff, and that's really challenging, I think. So it's great to be part of a collective where the skills that you might not necessarily have are elsewhere, and you can say, you know, does anyone know how I do this, or where's the best place to frame, or where's the best place to do X, Y, or Z. I think that's really important for makers, because we have to be so multifaceted to run our businesses or our careers as makers. You know, we have to do everything, don't we? Run our own websites, you know, create stuff to sell, or find galleries, do our applications for galleries, present our work in the best way, learn new skills. So yeah, I think for me, being part of a collective is it's like a hive mind, and it's really useful. And I think it's a really nice opportunity, and I think I really wanted to take advantage of opportunities that were coming last year. That was kind of what I decided to do when the world changed, that if opportunities came, I would take them. And for me, this collective was a huge opportunity, and I kind of thought, yeah, I'm gonna go for that and see what it's like. But yeah, I think it's, for some makers or artists, it won't be the right thing, but actually I think for many it will be really helpful to be part of a collective, and I really enjoy being part of this one.
Exactly. Well, likewise. I mean, it's like having access to an encyclopedia of knowledge. It keeps you on track, and it helps with all the different aspects. So incredibly useful. So we're coming to the end of the interview. Okay. Thanks so much, Sam.
Thank you.
And best of luck with it.
Thank you. Oh, and we should tell everybody that they can find our latest exhibition online if they go to the Art of Isolation website.
That's right. Not to be missed, the brand new exhibition. It's quite a stunning experience in 3D, so not to be missed for sure.
Thanks, Sonia.